Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now June 22nd of 2024, and already the Acolyte is halfway over. Can you believe it, that we're already 4 episodes through the Acolyte, and basically nothing happened? I mean, if you look back at all 4 episodes, the first 2 were obvious, they were very boring, very predictable, and then you had episode 3, which was, in my opinion, the worst thing to ever arrive in television history, and episode 4 was yet another example of a filler episode in Star Wars. Much like with what we got in the Kenobi series, in the Book of Boba Fett, and even in The Mandalorian Season 3 in multiple cases. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new, and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. So are we really all that surprised that we have people out there like Leslye Headland, the showrunner of The Acolyte, saying it's all about the creators, not the fans? Just recently we had Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy, she is known as the director of the upcoming Rey Star Wars film, going on a full thing about how the overall value, the priority of her movie is about not listening to the fans, really putting them into the void, locking them in a vault essentially, and not listening to their opinions. That's really what it's all about to them at Lucasfilm, and they are doubling down with the Rey movie, and seemingly The Acolyte doesn't really seem to be changing anything at all with the Rey Star Wars film. So what's interesting about this moving forward is that we know that Leslye Headland is going into endless damage control about the upcoming, of course, episodes of The Acolyte, 5, 6, 7, and 8. We only got 4 left. I believe it all concludes on July 16th or 17th, so not much longer to go until we finally see this disaster finally wrap up and we can put it behind us. Now, with The Acolyte episode 3 and 4 considered the worst episodes in Star Wars history under Disney and arguably in television, one major development now has much to do with Acolyte director Leslye Headland, who delivered the following in response to the backlash and ratings disaster. It's just completely frustrating to see fans, or whatever they are, to take things out of context, and how this is my dream and vision that now I feel is getting the respect it doesn't really deserve from many of these segments in the fandom. I think there is a lot of false word of mouth going on right now with The Acolyte. Nobody really knows what they are talking about, and it's just sad to see your vision get shattered by a handful of loud, opinionated fans, if you even want to call them that shout into the void only to convince the gullible what the meaning of the show is really all about. And they are all getting the wrong idea. This series was never about sending a message or pushing any kind of an agenda, but rather how we could gravitate toward a larger audience to different communities around the globe. I have seen the criticism for this show since day one, and I think it's just all blown out of proportion and exaggerated. I mean, with episode 3, we really wanted to represent the LGBTQ community in various ways, in a way of teasing, if you will, and I think we did that effectively. Does that mean we are pushing an agenda? Absolutely not, and anyone who is pushing that narrative is only engaging in the trouble it's causing. I am all about change when it involves Star Wars, and that's what we will be applying in the last few episodes that we have to explore. Are we done representing LGBTQ? No. Does that mean that we are pushing a message? No. I think fans just need to understand that we live in 2024 now. Shows like Acolyte need to adapt to the modern world. We have had many straight characters in film and television for decades, and I think it's about time that we focus more on the communities that were forced in the shadows for far too long. Episode 3 was a great piece of symbolism for that, and I just think the reviews are over-exaggerated. Nobody really means what they are saying, and dare I say it, many of those reviews you find on the internet and social media are not even authentic, coming from a genuine place of fans. It was my job as a showrunner to make sure that we represented all of these great communities that continue to hold on to that stigma, and how Star Wars gave them that opportunity to finally shine. So let me just stop here, guys, real quick before I move on about Leslye Headland and the absolute nonsense that she is pushing, and how she lacks logic. So, number one, she's saying that everything is over-exaggerated, everything is blown out of proportion. It absolutely is not. Every single fan out there pretty much despises The Acolyte episode 3, and many out there were very bored with episode 4. Now some, of course, you're always going to have an exception, let's not lie about that. You're going to have people that loved both episodes 3 and 4. Do I know any that loved those episodes? Not at all, to be very honest. But looking at Leslye Headland here, she also goes on this whole thing about how the overall structure of the Acolyte was about representation above proper storytelling, above proper character development. She goes on this whole thing again about how reviews are inauthentic and how this is shattering her dreams. Well, if we were such a minority, how is it shattering your dream? I think that she's admitting that it's the majority without really admitting it, right? Why aren't the merchandise sales going up in value at all? Why aren't people pre-ordering those? A lot of the figurines, by the way, sold through various stores and online websites are not even getting pre-sales. They're not even getting sold at all. And that is also very revealing. So if you had so many backers, so many fans of the Acolyte, why aren't the figures selling? Why aren't the merchandise connected to the Acolyte selling? Whether it's figures, t-shirts, any kind of merchandise like that, it's not taking off at all. And it's costing Disney millions of dollars. Now, moving on forward with that, she goes on to conclude, alright, that was our number one priority in all of this, above all else, and I still defend my work because I think it's my greatest piece of art I ever created in my career. You just can't trust fans anymore. I think Lucasfilm is becoming a more flexible place to expand your dreams. It's not about the fans, it's about your vision, and I don't know where we go from here. But I had a blast creating this thing, and really focusing on all of these valued communities, so of course, we knew toxic fans would engage in our work ethic with that. So again, I mean, she's trying to play the victim card again about how, oh, we're the ones that caused her dreams to get shattered. No, the only person to blame is you, Leslye Headland, because you were the one that literally looked up to Rian Johnson, the very sole individual that divided Star Wars in half, if not more than that. I mean, I would go as far to say that the day that The Last Jedi arrived, there's no doubt about it, is the very day that Star Wars got tainted, it got, you know, completely broken. It was never going to have any kind of a reverse effect. Nothing ever fixed that, you know, colossal failure. Nothing. Not The Mandalorian, not The Book of Boba Fett, not Kenobi. If anything, those were worse when it came to Kenobi and Boba Fett. But moving on from all of that, we know that Leslye Headland really has no idea what she is talking about. She goes on to say about how fans don't know what they're talking about, and how they're so toxic, and how they are the reason why her dreams are getting shattered. Look, I think that this is nothing more than a coping session for Leslye Headland, and it's obviously a part of damage control handed down by Disney and Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy, Bob Iger, you name it. They're all in this together. They want to make this into a success, essentially. They want this to succeed. That's their ultimate goal, and it's not working for them. Look, you got half the show over, and when you have half a show that is so bad, it's not going to improve drastically. Even if it does improve a little bit, it's not going to be enough to save the show. That's just the reality of things here. So there's really no hope about the series. I don't know why people are saying that things are going to turn around and it's going to be some classic major hit in Star Wars as big as Empire Strikes Back, which I think is just ludicrous. But I would like to hear what you all have to say about this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.